country's all achievements attained under Awami League's leadership, says Obaidul Qadir. Secretaries assigned to coordinate, implement decision of political government. They are working in coordination with public representatives in district, says Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood. 199 more died from coronavirus in the country in 24 hours. 11,600 fresh infections identified. Infection rate 31.62%. Global death toll from coronavirus crosses 40,20,000, more than 18 crore 60,04,000 infected so far. And Zimbabwe trailed by 354 runs in the first innings against Bangladesh at stumps of day 2. Mahmudullah scored unbeaten 150. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shamim Khan, welcoming you all to News at 10 on BTV, BTV World and BTV Chattogram Center. Those were the headlines. We now move on to the news in details. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said, the world community should recognize people's vulnerability, common aspirations, need for technology transfer and additional funding to tackle the impacts of climate change and COVID-19 pandemic. The international community and the developed countries should play their historical responsibilities and their moral and legal obligations, she said. The Premier made this remark while opening the first Climate Vulnerable Finance Summit, joining virtually from Gonu Bhavan as she is the President of Climate Vulnerable Forum, CVF. Bangladesh hosted this summit organized by Finance Ministers of Vulnerable 20, the V20, with Finance Minister A.H.M. Mustafa Kamal in the chair.
The world community should recognize the vulnerability of our people, our common aspirations, the need for technology transfer and additional funding to tackle the impacts of climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. The international community and the developed countries should play their historical responsibilities and their moral and legal obligations. We would like to call upon the developed countries to reduce their carbon emissions drastically. We also count on the delivery of the agreed $100 billion per annum as climate finance. Every country must pursue an ambitious target to curb greenhouse gas emissions to keep global temperature rise below 1.5 Celsius. Every vulnerable country may actively consider adopting a climate prosperity plan like our Mujib Climate Prosperity Plan. I request the international community to provide all-out support to realize our plans. Esteemed partners, our planet Earth is in a dire state, threatening our very existence. We must be sensible in our actions. Let us work together to build a strong climate resilience world.
Heads of state and government of CVF countries, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Chair of Global Center on Adaptation Ban Ki-moon, finance ministers of V20 countries, ministers and representatives from G7 and G20 countries, among others, joined the summit. The government has asked concerned authorities to take necessary steps to increase supply of oxygen and number of beds for corona patients in the hospitals. Principal Secretary of the Prime Minister Dr. Ahmad Kaikaus gave the directives as he was holding a video conference with officials of all divisions and districts of the country. The online meeting was held this morning to coordinate ongoing emergency activities to check coronavirus outbreak and protect public health from the pandemic. In the meeting, Principal Secretary requested the people with any symptom of coronavirus infections to strictly maintain isolation. In this regard, Dr. Ahmed Kaikas directed the officials of local administration to ensure isolation of people with corona symptoms to protect public health in this pandemic situation. The number of corona patients is increasing day by day in Capital's hospital as corona situation is worsening across the country. In this situation, Health Directorate has taken many measures including setting up field hospitals and increasing beds and amount of oxygen. On the other hand, inoculation program of Pfizer vaccine is being continuing at 7 hospitals in the capital. Physicians said those who have taken corona vaccine, all of them are well and vaccine is 90% effective. Death and infection rates of coronavirus are on the rise in the country as new records are being logged every day. The Director General of Health opines that bringing patients late to the hospitals, assuming fever, cold and cough as seasonal menace, caused the rise in number of deaths by coronavirus. Doctors and professionals suggest prompt medical attention in cases when oxygen level gets reduced among affected persons. Corona situation in the country has taken a serious turn as hospitals are grappling to manage the pressure of patients. Death toll is rising fast and patients from districts and upazilas are brought to hospitals at the last moment. Despite strict government measures and lockdowns, the rate of contamination and deaths are increasing every day. Tuesday had been the worst day so far, with over 200 deaths since the pandemic surfaced. Health experts maintain that there is no alternative to maintaining health guidelines to contain the galloping rate of infection. They suggest that common flu, fever and cough during ongoing monsoon should be taken seriously and patients must be rushed to hospitals whenever they complain of breathing difficulty. Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir has said, Bangladesh Awami League is not a rootless political organization. Rather, country's all achievements have come in the hand of Awami League. He said this while briefing journalists virtually from his official residence in the capital this morning. Obaidul Qadir said, Awami League's root is very deep in the country's soil. Not only geographical liberty, Awami League also brings economic freedom of the country, he added. He said, many conspiracies were made in the past against Awami League, but Awami League raised like phoenix bird. Mentioning that BNP's politics is not for the people, Awami League General Secretary said, BNP is a party of own interest.
করোনা কালে এখন আর অন্য কোনো রাজনীতি নেই। এখন রাজনীতি হচ্ছে অসহায় খেটে খাওয়া মানুষের পাশে দাঁড়ানো। দুঃখের সাথে বলতে হয় এ সময়ও বিএনপি নামে একটি দল মানুষের পাশে না দাঁড়িয়ে সরকারের বিরুদ্ধে অবিরাম বিষোদ্গার করে যাচ্ছে। তাদের রাজনীতি জনমানুষের জন্য নয়, তাদের রাজনীতিতে তাদের ত্যাগের কোনো মহিমা নেই, আছে শুধু ভোগের উদগ্র লিপ্সা। বিএনপি নেতাদের বলতে চাই, আওয়ামী লীগ নয়, এদেশে স্বাধীনতার ইতিহাস বিকৃতির জনক বিএনপি। স্বাধীনতার ঘোষক আর ঘোষণার পাঠক কিন্তু এক নয়, এ সত্যটা বিএনপিকে অনুধাবন করতে হবে। বাংলাদেশ আওয়ামী লীগ হঠাৎ গজিয়ে ওঠা কোনো ভুইফোট সংগঠন নয়। এদেশের মাটির গভীরে আওয়ামী লীগের শিকড়, দেশের প্রতিটি অর্জন আওয়ামী লীগের হাত ধরে। এদেশের ভৌগোলিক স্বাধীনতায় শুধু নয়, অর্থনৈতিক মুক্তিও এসেছে আওয়ামী লীগের নেতৃত্বে। শেখ হাসিনার নেতৃত্বে অদম্য গতিতে এগিয়ে যাওয়া আওয়ামী লীগকে যারা জনবিচ্ছিন্ন মনে করে, তারা নিজেরাই জনবিচ্ছিন্ন, জননিন্দিত। তাদের নিজেদেরই রাজনীতি আজ অস্তিত্ব সংকটে।
Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood has said secretaries of different ministries have been assigned to coordinate the implementation of decisions of political government. They are working in coordination with public representatives in districts. He said this in response to queries from journalists at his official residence in the capital after virtually joining Chattogram District Coordination meeting today. Dr. Hassan Mahmood went on to say that Awami League does not run the country with patchworks like BNP.
সম্মানিত সচিবরা যে সমস্ত জেলায় সমন্বয়কের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন তারা সেখানে ওই সমস্ত জেলার যারা মন্ত্রী আছেন, যারা এমপি আছেন এবং অন্যান্য জনপ্রতিনিধি আছেন তাদের সাথে আলোচনা করেই তারা সমন্বয়টা করছেন। সুতরাং এখানে কাউকে খাটো করা হয়নি। সচিবরাই সরকারি কাজে সবসময় সমন্বয় করেন, এখানেও সমন্বয় করার জন্যই তাদেরকে দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হয়েছে, এর বেশি কিছু নয়। দেশ পরিচালনা করার ক্ষেত্রে, করোনা নিয়ন্ত্রণ করার ক্ষেত্রে, করোনা মোকাবেলা করার ক্ষেত্রে, ত্রাণ তৎপরতা চালানোর ক্ষেত্রে এবং অন্যান্য ক্ষেত্রে অর্থাৎ কোভিড পরিস্থিতিতে উদ্ভূত পরিস্থিতিতে সরকারের সিদ্ধান্তগুলো সমন্বয় করার জন্যই দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হয়েছে। মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যা তিনি করোনার টিকা কেনার জন্য অর্থাৎ এই কোভিড পরিস্থিতি মোকাবেলা করার জন্য, বিশেষত করোনার টিকা কেনার জন্য তিনি পর্যাপ্ত অর্থ বরাদ্দ রেখেছেন এবং তিনি জাতীয় সংসদেও ঘোষণা করেছেন যত টাকাই লাগুক দেশের ৮০% মানুষকে সরকার টিকা দিবে। এবছরের মধ্যে 10 কোটি ডোজ টিকা চলে আসবে। আগামী বছরের প্রথমার্ধে বা প্রথম কোয়ার্টারে আরও প্রায় 7 কোটি ডোজ টিকা আসার কথা রয়েছে। সুতরাং কোনো জায়গা থেকে অর্থ কাটিল করতে হবে না। মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী ইতিমধ্যেই তার যে দক্ষতা, তার যে নেতৃত্ব দানের গুণাবলী দিয়ে তিনি আজকে পৃথিবীতে একজন সফল রাষ্ট্রনায়ক হিসাবে সবার কাছে প্রশংসিত। বিএনপি আসলে নিজেরা তো দেশ পরিচালনায় ব্যর্থ ছিলেন, সেজন্য তারা এদিক থেকে কাট করে ওদিক থেকে জোড়াতালি দিয়ে দেশ চালিয়েছেন। তাদের সেই জোড়াতালি দিয়ে আমাদের দেশ চালাতে হবে না। মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী সফলভাবে দেশ পরিচালনা করছেন, কোনো জায়গা থেকে কার্টেল করে কোনো কিছু করতে হবে না। করোনা মোকাবেলা করার জন্য, বিশেষত করোনার টিকা করার জন্য পর্যাপ্ত অর্থ বরাদ্দ রাখা হয়েছে।
Later, the Information and Broadcasting Minister joined a meeting with leaders of Directors Guild and Obinoy Shilpi Shongho. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Mohammad Maqbool Hussain, FDP Chairman Mamunur Rashid, Directors Guild President Salauddin Lavlu, General Secretary Kamruzaman Shagur, Obinoy Shilpi Shongho President Shohid Zaman Salim, General Secretary Habib Nasim and Presenters Platform General Secretary Anjam Masood were present. Today is the 8th day of the ongoing restrictions imposed to tackle spread of deadly coronavirus. District administration, executive magistrates, law enforcement agencies, RAB, BGB and Army remain active at different spots in the capital since morning to execute restrictions. Police remain active at every checkpoint. The movement of personal vehicles was comparatively thin in the morning, but it increased with the passage of time. Presence of crowds at kitchen markets was high since morning. Many people face legal action, including fines and arrests, when they go outside of their homes without valid reasons. 199 COVID-19 patients died and 11,651 new cases in a day were reported in the last 24 hours in the country. Directorate General of Health Services, DGHS, in his routine daily statement today said the death toll has risen to 15,792 from coronavirus and the tally of infections has risen to 9,89,219. The recovery count rose to 8,56,346 after another 5,844 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. The statement said 31.62% of 36,850 samples tested positive. DGH's statistics showed people infected from the beginning, 86.57% recovered and 1.60% died. The statement said of the 199 deaths, 2 are between 11 to 20 years, 9 between 21 to 30 years, 6 between 31 to 40 years, 28 between 41 to 50 years, 47 between 51 to 60 years, while 107 are above 60 years. 133 out of 199 people died were male, while 66 were female. DGH is informed that 65 people died in Dhaka Division, 37 in Chattogram Division, 15 died in Rajshahi Division, 55 in Khulna Division, 3 died in Borishal Division, 5 in Sylhet Division, 9 died in Rangpur Division, and 10 died in Mymensingh Division. Now, international news. COVID-19 global death toll crosses 40,20,000 and over 18,58,33,000 people have been infected globally. Besides, more than 17,02,04,000 people have recovered from the virus so far. Meanwhile, the US has now 3,46,47,000 confirmed cases and 6,21,000 deaths. India has now 3,07,31,000 confirmed cases and 4,05,000 deaths. South Africa's former President Jacob Zuma has handed himself in to police to begin serving a 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court. He was admitted to Escort Correctional Center in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal yesterday. Police had warned that they were prepared to arrest him if he did not hand himself in by midnight. Zuma was handed the jail term last week after he failed to attend a corruption inquiry in February this year. Water level of different rivers in Bogura and Netrokona increased further due to incessant rain and overflow from the upstream, though the flood situation in Mymensingh developed as raining decreased there. Water Development Board warned about flood in Bogura district as water level of all the rivers of the district increased due to overflow from upstream lowlands besides Jomari River, indicated as the water level rising every day. Bogura District Administration has taken necessary initiatives to face the flash flood. Netrokona, water level of all the rivers including Kongs, Mogura, Someshwari and Dhonu is increasing rapidly. Water of these rivers except Dhanu is flowing under danger level. Water Development Board said Dhanu River is flowing 17 centimeters above danger level. In Mymensingh, flood situation of Dhaubora and Halwa Ghatu Upazila developed further. About 30 villages of 2 upazilas were flooded when river embankment of Netai River broken with heavy rush from upstream. A number of residential houses and crop field damaged by flood water. Meanwhile, local administrations of concerned areas started to distribute relief goods among the people affected by flash flood. Now, news on sports. Zimbabwe trailed by 354 runs against Bangladesh in the first innings at stumps of Day 2 in Harare. At the end of the day, the hosts scored 114 for 1. Kai Tang and Brendan Taylor were on the crease with 33 and 37 runs respectively. Shakib Al Hassan bagged the lone wicket. Earlier, Bangladesh started the second day's batting with overnight score of 294 for 8. The Tigers were all out on 468 runs in the first innings with a brilliant performance of Mahmudullah Riyad and Taskin Ahmed. Mahmudullah bagged his 5th Test century and was unbeaten on 150 runs. Taskin fulfilled his career's first 50 and scored 75 runs. This pair made the highest 9 wickets partnership of Bangladesh cricket history, scoring 191 runs. And now to end the bulletin, a recap of the top stories. First Climate Vulnerable Finance Summit begins. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina calls for working together to build a climate-resilient world. Government directs to increase supply of oxygen as well as number of COVID beds in the hospitals of the country. Awami League not a ruthless political organization. Country's all achievements attained under Awami League's leadership, says Obaidul Qadir. Secretaries assigned to coordinate and implement decision of political government. They are working in coordination with public representatives in districts, says Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood. 199 more died from coronavirus in the country in 24 hours. 11,600 fresh infections identified. Infection rate 31.62%. Global death toll from coronavirus crosses 40,20,000. More than 18 crore 60,04,000 infected so far. And Zimbabwe trailed by 354 runs in the first innings against Bangladesh at stumps of day 2. Mahmudullah scored unbeaten 150. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you indeed for joining us, and we invite you to watch 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.
পথ বেঁধে দিল বন্ধনহীন গ্রন্থি, আমরা দুজন চলতি হাওয়ার পন্থী।
তোমার ট্রেন 12টায়, 10টা বেজে গেছে।
কি চাই?
আপনার প্রেশারটা বলে বাড়ছে, মেশিনটা কই?
কি?
নো, চুক্তি ভঙ্গ হবে বলে দিচ্ছে।
রাজীব আলী ভাই কি করেন? পাখির কিচিরমিচির শোনার চেষ্টা করছি।
কালকে ক্লাসের নোট তৈরি করছি।
মিথ্যে কথা। মেয়েদের কলেজে মাস্টারি করো আর কবিতা লেখো না।
আরে আপনি তো আমাদের রজব আলী সাহেবকে মহা দুশ্চিন্তা ফেলে দিয়েছিলেন।
সাথে সুটকেস দেখলাম, রাতে থাকবে নাকি? আপনি আমারই জিজ্ঞান করে, আমার আত্মীয় নেই।
আমার তো খুব একটা খরচ হয় না, যদি কখনো দরকার পড়ে তুমি আমার কাছ থেকে নাও না কেন?
নারীর অর্জিত অর্থ পুরুষে নেয় না।
ট্রলি ব্যাগের রহস্য উদ্ধার পর্ব হবে নিশ্চয়ই।
নো, বি কেয়ারফুল।
বাংলা ডিপার্টমেন্টের আরিফিন সাহেব আছেন, ওনাকে বলবে যে প্রিন্সিপাল সাহেব সালাম দিয়েছেন।